In this video, I will explain date and time functions in Microsoft Excel. I will discuss these functions. The first one is now, which gives current date and time, today, which gives today's date, and then text, which is used to convert date into day, DATEDIF, which is about difference of time between two dates, YEARFRAC, which calculates the fraction of the year represented by the number of whole days between two dates, and difference between DATEDIF and YEARFRAC, and sequence function, which is used to make calendars. I will start with now. This function gives us current date and time. I will use this formula. It gives me current date and time. The next one is today. This formula will give us today's date. If we want to convert this date into day, we can use this function, which is called text. I will select this date and then I want to find out what day is today. So I will use D 4 times. And it shows that today on December 26th, it is Thursday. The next one is DATEDIF. DATEDIF basically means difference between dates. So for example, we have two time points. One is this one and the second one is this one. And we want to find out how much time has elapsed. And we want to find out in terms of year, months and days. I will use this formula. First point of time, comma, second point of time, and then just type Y, and that gives us 4 years. This shows that the interval between these two dates is 4 years. We can also calculate in terms of months. To calculate the interval between these two dates, I will be using this formula, DATEDIF. First point of time, which is this one. Second point of time, which is this one, and then M, which stands for months. Similarly, we can also calculate the interval between these two dates in terms of days. Using this formula, which is DATEDIF, first point of time, second point of time, and D for days, we get number of days. The next one is YEARFRAC. In YEARFRAC, frac stands for fraction. So basically it means year fraction. If you want to calculate age and this is date of birth of someone, we can use this YEARFRAC. First point of time and then today. We can manually type here today's date or we can use this today. Age will be 4.008 years. Next, I will discuss what's the difference between DATEDIF and YEARFRAC. So for example, here we have two dates, date 1 and date 2, and let's use DATEDIF function and then YEARFRAC. I'm using DATEDIF function to calculate number of years, the interval between these two dates in terms of number of years, and it says it's 4. The actual interval between these two dates, it's not exactly 4 years, but DATEDIF function only counts complete units, for example full years or months, and does not account for partial intervals. So for example, over here in this case, interval between these two dates is about 4 years and 27 days. But DATEDIF function, when using year, returns only years. For instance, it does not recognize fractional months or days when calculating years or month. When the difference between two time points is 1 year, 3 months and 24 days, DATEDIF Y will give a time difference of 1 year. So it will ignore 3 months and 24 days. So therefore, it is not precise. And for that purpose, we use YEARFRAC. So let's see what happens with YEARFRAC. I'm using this formula, YEARFRAC or year fraction, between these two dates, this one and this one. It gives us the interval between them is 4.075 years, which is different from this one. YEARFRAC is more precise. It takes into account the actual or assumed number of days in a year, making it suitable for precise financial or time-weighted calculations. There is another use of YEARFRAC in salary calculation. We have these employees A, B, C, D, E, F. This is their annual salary. This is their starting date and this is their end date. Now this salary is annual, which means they will get this salary only if they work for the whole year. If they do not work for the whole year, this salary will be adjusted. We want to use YEARFRAC formula to find out exact interval between these two times, and then we will multiply that by salary to get the exact salary. So for example, if I just use this incomplete formula to see what output it gives. It shows that employee A has worked for 0.97 years. Employee A did not work for 1 full year. So this means this salary needs to be adjusted. In this formula, this part YEARFRAC K17 and L17 will give us interval between starting date and end date in terms of number of years, and then that will be multiplied by their salary to get prorate salary, and that gives us $54,720. I can copy this formula to other cells to calculate prorate salary for other employees. The next one is sequence function, which is usually used to make calendars. For sequence, I am using this formula to make a calendar for 2026. So I'm using this formula sequence 6, which means I want 6 rows and then 7 columns. I'm using 7 columns because in 1 week there are 7 days. And then date. I want to make a calendar for 2026 and 1st of January. When I hit enter, it will give me dates in 6 rows, 7 columns, and they will be starting from 1st January 26. We can also add here day. So for example, this is the calendar for January 2026, and if you want to know what day will be on this one, we can use that text function that will give me the name of day on this date, and then we can copy this to other cells. So this shows that January 2026 will start on Thursday and then it will go on.